Hi, people. I'm going to talk about the literature depicting the crime of crisis. I'm Fathima Naseem, guest lecturer, Department of English, Queen Mary's College. To give an introduction, I don't think everybody would need it, but still, literature is an art in written form. It is written based on aesthetic sense, the pleasure principle. We actually feel very happy when reading any piece of literature. Children love stories. We people since our childhood love stories. Stories everywhere. Literature is actually a part and parcel of our life. Literature is not written for one particular situation, it is written for every mood. It depicts man since his olden days, so we could know about him much better. And we learn and critically analyze literature. To give some examples, I've taken four pieces of literature. Paradise Lost by John Milton, which actually states about how human race existed. Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain is a classic example of children literature. Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet is an example of romance. Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho is a thriller. So it takes all the genre. Problems faced during disasters are like stress because of money, the economy of the country goes down, so all this would cause familial issues at home. I have taken some pieces of literature which actually depict how the global pandemic is there, how the condition of people changed because of the diseases. The first piece of literature is A Journal of Plague Year by Daniel Defoe, written about 1665 to 1666 bubonic plague. Within a period of 18 months, one fourth of the population was killed. People were asked to do forced quarantine, and during that period, one of the infected member of the family states, "It was generally in such houses that we heard the most dismal shrieks and outcries of the poor people, terrified and even frightened to death by the sight of the condition of their dearest relations and by the terror of being imprisoned as they were." The next piece of work is Bring Out Your Dead by J.M. Powell. It's actually a non fiction, probably you could call it as a documentary work of the Great Plague of the Yellow Fever, which happened to be in 1793. It killed around hundreds of people in Philadelphia. Pox Americana by Elizabeth A. Fenn is about the great smallpox epidemic which happened in 1775 to 82. It gives a brief account of it, and Janet Maslin, a paper's reviewer, calls it about this novel, about this piece of literature. The American Revolution coincided with the smallpox plague that swept across North America, decimating the population and determining the course of history. So she has traced the history and she's given a good account of what happened during smallpox, which actually where American Revolution was going on and how people were affected. Novels about flu. The Stand by Stephen King. It is a novel in which a patient escapes biological weapon carrying the mutated strain of flu. The Last Town on Earth by Thomas Mullen, Flu by Gina Coletta, Pale Horse Pale Rider by Catherine Ann Porter. All these are about the Spanish flu. David Papineau writes a review about Gina Coletta's flu as in the autumn of 1918, when the war in Europe was almost over, a terrible plague came upon the earth. People called it the Spanish flu, but its innocuous name did not stop it killing twice as many the Great War itself. Kim Stanley Robinson wrote The Years of Rice and Salt, in which a character of novel says, "Mutation of the plague so strong it killed all its host and therefore died itself." It means a lot. So it had nobody left to affect the plague. So it is so strong. The lines really mean it. The Children's Hospital by Chris Adrian is a fiction. It talks about the plague called Botch. Myla Goldberg A novelist reviews it as Adrian wants to know why people die, what meaning can be derived from their lives, and whether anything lies beyond. Station Level by Emily St. John Mandel. It is about it actually took place 2 decades after swine flu called Georgian flu. 99% of human beings were killed. The Old Rift by Namwali Serpal. It talks about the effect of AIDS. Serpal actually talks to Los Angeles reviews as a whole generation of Zambians were wiped out by HIV AIDS. I lost a lot of family members, mostly cousins, who were much older than me. The Plague by Albert Camus. It is actually an allusion to the cholera epidemic in Algeria in 1849. I would like to conclude by saying literature is everywhere. It depicts human life better in all situations. It talks about disease, it talks about pain, it talks about happiness, financial issues, history, psychology, science fiction. So it touches each and everything, every corner of our life, every facets of our life. I would like to end up with a quote by P.T. Barnum. Literature is one of the most interesting and significant expressions of humanity. Thank you all.